honeycomb cake might just be one of the coolest looking cakes ever with the spongy, comey texture and the bright green color. But I read it's also one of the hardest ones to make. But she starts off by measuring her dry ingredients, and she starts with some tapioca flour. I can 100% say I have never used tapioca flour to bake before, so this is new to me. It's like very light and it feels like cornstarch. Then she adds some rice flour, but she says not to use the glutinous kind, otherwise it turns out like mochi. Some double-acting baking powder, sugar, and some salt. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the wet ingredients, and she starts off with 6 eggs, but I don't want to risk failing this and waste all my eggs, so we're just gonna do 3 and half the recipe. I bake a lot, but sometimes I'm not confident in my own skills. Let's break up the yolks a little bit. Then we add in our coconut milk, and then some pandan extract, which is basically Asia's version of vanilla extract. Ah, it smells so earthy and delicious. And it's usually bright green like this too. And now she says to whisk it gently so you don't incorporate air bubbles. But somebody said it's weird because at first I didn't whisk it hard and the texture came out flat and dense. Then a lady told me to whisk it really hard to trap the bubbles in, and finally the textures came out right. I think that looks good. It's nice and incorporated. It looks like she mixes the wet and dry in 2 incorporations, and again mix it real slow. Now she greases her bundt cake pan with some coconut oil. I don't have a pan that big, but this is as close as I can get to it. I gotta lather this up because I don't want the cake to stick. But now she takes her batter and then she strains it into another bowl, where I'm wondering why couldn't we just strain it directly into the pan? Honestly, this is starting to look like slime. She gives her pan a couple of taps on the counter. That helps break up the air bubbles, I guess. And then for extra insurance, she brushes aside some more with coconut oil and also drizzles a little on top. There's already a very visible layer of coconut oil on top, so I don't even know if this step is necessary. Let's pop it in the oven and hope that it honeycombs it. Oh, I don't know if it's deflated. I mean, this top is a little tall, but this looks sad. But now she says to flip it over to let it naturally fall off. I think it already fell out, so at least it didn't stick to the pan. Somehow, I don't think it's supposed to look like this, but it's still pretty hot, so I'm gonna let it finish cooling down a little bit. And now let's see if our cake honeycombed or just plain honey sucked. I don't think this turned out the way that I was hoping with those tall bubbles, and it's definitely more dense and mochi-like, but we still have a satisfying tear and squish. It has a little bit of a honeycomb texture right here, so I'd say it's a semi-win for a first attempt. And even though it didn't honeycomb, it still tastes so chewy, delicious. 8 out of 10.